where did, so you saw Rocky the Pug, right? Okay, I was just basically kind of giving you a rundown that the new retired items have been put out, and you can go to my blog to download the PDF. If you don't want to download the PDF from my blog, send me an email and I will send you either the PDF document or I will send you the Excel spreadsheet so you can have it for yourself. So you can kind of go through the catalog. This includes both the annual catalog and the mini catalog, which everyone should have. Also, if you put in an order with me, you will be on my list to get the new annual catalog, which will be coming out in June. And the new, I think as demonstrators, we should be able to see all the new items. But one of the new items, which we already are aware of, is the Ornate dies and stamp sets, and that's what we're going to do today. So let's go ahead and go to my desktop and we will take a look at, there we go. Okay, so here are the products that come with the Ornate suite. It's a lot. You get 2 stamp sets, which include this lovely line drawing, and you get all of these sentiments. Now what's kind of neat about these is that you can kind of change them up. And I'm going to kind of show you, I have a block here that says thanks, and you can put thanks for everything, or you can say just wanting to say thanks. The other part is you can use these individually, because there's one right here that says you're amazing. You can use them individually on cards. So this is actually a really nice product, and it is available now for purchase, but it will be a featured suite in the new catalog. Now, I will tell you that I did post these 2 cards right here this week. These were the 2 cards that I did using some old DSP that I colored in with, I believe this was Flirty Flamingo, and I used some of the Flirty Flamingo cardstock to using some of the die cuts. Like you can see, this filigree right here is basically this set right here. It's this cut. Now, if you really want to go through all the pieces and parts that are involved in this die cut, there are lots of other videos out there that you can do that. What I really want to focus on is to kind of show you some of the pieces, but because I had to individually color these flowers, I basically ran out of ink on my stamping blends. And I looked at this line colored drawing image, and I thought, there is no way I am going to use this set with all the coloring. And I was looking at videos, and it's like everybody is coloring. And I was like, enough. I don't want to do any more coloring, especially I think because I just finished the Tropical Bundles set, and that had a lot of coloring in it. So I guess part of my feelings this week was I was just kind of burnt out on doing individual coloring. So I had to come up with a different way to use this set, and that's what I'm going to show you tonight. So I'm simply going to put these aside. Here's the image we're going to use, and here are the sentiments that we're going to use. I'm just going to put them aside because what I want to show you, here are all the pieces and parts, And I also pulled out my favorite, the silhouette labels. I've used this for basically, I guess, every project for the last couple of videos. But here are all the dies that come with this set. It looks like a lot, it is, but there's some neat things about it, and I want to show you how I use them. So I'm going to start out with the very first thing I did was I basically took the image, and I'm going to kind of pull in a little bit so I can kind of talk to these. I took the stamped image and I embossed them with gold embossing powder. Now the suite also comes with an embossing folder, and maybe you can see this is vellum, but I really like the vellum because it really shows the nice texture. And this is a very, very deeply embossed folder. It's one of those 3D folders. So I started out really simple with this set. I took the flower image, I embossed it with gold, I put it on white cardstock, and you can see the background is also embossed. And then I used this framelit here with a piece of gold glitter paper, and that was basically my card. So that was kind of like, okay, I kind of like this. Now, another way to do this, which I think is really pretty, is by using this ribbon right here, which has that gold trim to it. This would look really lovely as another way to embellish this card if I was using the very vanilla paper. And the other thing is that you can use kind of like just the beautiful designer series paper that comes with it, and just having this kind of fancy filigree is really just would be enough to do a really nice card. So that's kind of a nice way of approaching it. The next card I did was this one, and this one I used terracotta tile because these are the colors that are in the designer series paper. I took terracotta tile. Again, I embossed it with gold. I used the embossing folder, which is the soft texture, just to give it a little bit more texture. I used gold foil to cut out the this nice little see-through filigree here. And they have these really lovely gilded gems that come with the set. And I just kind of embellished it. And I used my thanks. Just wanted to say thanks. Now this, you can see this. I just want to show you kind of what you can do. You can kind of see that there's this kind of this filigree edge right here, and then you'll notice that my thanks has a filigree edge as well. Well, that is done with this edge right here that comes with the bundle. So you can kind of do some neat things. You can kind of add a nice filigree to the edge of your paper before you add this nice piece, or you can use it to go ahead and frame your sentiment. So that was a very nice touch, and I really liked that. So that was kind of my first stab at trying to put something together with this. Then I thought, well, I am going to get some, and I believe this is the, I can't think of the paper right now, but this paper is the only paper besides watercolor paper that can withstand any water or inking using either watercolors or water. And I believe it's the subtle, softly subtle paper. Let me go over here and grab it, because I don't know why it is escaping. And this is important when putting together this card. Here it is. It is the shimmery white cardstock. The shimmery white cardstock has a really good solid texture that can handle water, and it won't ripple like your regular Whisper White cardstock. So I took shimmery white cardstock and I cut it to about, I believe I cut it to 5 1/4 by 4 into a nice piece. And then I did a number of steps, and I used my embossing, or I used my stamparatus. So here's my stamparatus. I took my stamparatus and put my cardstock in here and locked it down. I had it kind of centered, and I did several things with it. The first thing I did is I stamped it with the Stays On black ink. I also stamped it with clear embossing powder. And I also stamped it with, and I'm going to show this because this is what I'm going to work with. I use black embossing powder, okay? And then I came up with several ways to color. One way that I used is that I used these stamping blends, and I'm going to show you the ones that I use stamping blends with. Or I use these right here. These are these colored pigments. They're called Pigment Sprinkles, and they're in the annual catalog. These pigment sprinkles are really intense pigment powder that when you add water, they just kind of explode with color. Well, the first card I did, I just kind of sprinkled the paper with the powder, and then I just sprayed it and they kind of exploded, and I just kind of left it like that. But I really don't think it's a bad design. I mean, what do you think, Tina? Do you think that looks, not too bad for a first effort? I also took a gel pen, a black gel pen, and you can see I made the dots kind of dark, and they have a nice little, kind of a nice texture to them. I used the embossing folder, and you can also see that I used a piece of this filigree on the side. Very, very simple. I think it's a pretty card. The next one I used was simply taking, again, I took a clear embossing powder on the shimmery white cardstock, and I kind of used the sprinkle powders, but it wasn't as hard because since you're using the embossed image, the color kind of stays in the leaves and in the petals, so I kind of liked how that looked. And then again, I really like the idea of having them set up on cardstock and then embossing a background and using that filigree. This one has the filigree kind of against white, which is still pretty, and then this one against a piece of mossy meadow, which kind of brings out the green. And it has this really lovely green ribbon that comes with the set. So I thought that was another really effective way to use the image. This one I used a technique I'm going to demonstrate where I basically used a sponge dauber, and I wet the sponge dauber and then dipped it in the sprinkles, and I kind of moved it around my image to kind of create where I wanted to put the color. So the color is kind of less spread out and it's more contained in this example. I then took an image, and this one right here, and what I did is I stamped the color first. I just put color, and I used kind of like a light pattern on my cardstock. I took my pigments and I just sprinkled the pigments, and then I kind of spread them around where I think they would be. I let them dry, and then I stamped the image on the cardstock with the Memento black ink. So this was another nice effect that I got with another technique for coloring. This image here, and I'm going to get close because this one's a little bit more intense. I use the clear embossing powder, but I used an aqua painter, and I used the colors from the, I used some Mossy Meadow, some Flirty Flamingo, and some of the terracotta tile to kind of color in these the image. So that kind of gives you another type of coloring that you can use. And I use the aqua painter. This example is I took basically just the ink pads, you know, squeeze the ink pad so that I had color on the back, used my aqua painter, and again I used the clear embossing powder to come up with my lines. And I just very carefully, and this is mint macaron, I believe I used crushed curry, I used some Flirty Flamingo, and then here this is our terracotta tile. And it created kind of a soft, muted image. And I put it on black cardstock so it could kind of pop, because any other color, it kind of faded considerably. Now, so I'm showing you all the different types of techniques that you can use. I want to show one more. These are cards that I did, and I haven't even had a chance to kind of put them together. Let's see. Where is that one? I guess I just lost where I may have put it. Lastly, I wanted to show you this card. Now this card was kind of cool because if you take all of these framelets here, so it's this framelet, and this framelet, and so I'm not using this one. So it's 1, 2, 3 framelets, and you kind of alternate, and this was just Whisper White, terracotta tile, Whisper White, and then I embossed with white embossing powder. That is really a pretty card. I really like the way that came out. So it's kind of interesting that that this set, it's very ornate. It's definitely ornate, but you do have a lot of different ways, and that's kind of what I wanted to show you tonight, is that there's a lot of different ways that you can kind of put these together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the ones that I just dropped over here, and hopefully I didn't drop any more. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to take these two pieces of shimmery white cardstock, and we're going to use the powders to create our image. So I'm going to show you how I went about doing that. So I'm going to start with this one, and I'm going to take out my sponge daubers. And I think I have I'm supposed to have a yellow one, a green one, and a yellow one, a green one, and a pink one. Now this is Melon Mambo, but if you mix Melon Mambo with Mango Melody, you get a color that is pretty close to, and that's what this color is right here, you get a color that's pretty close to our terracotta tile. All right, so let me show you what we're going to do, and let me get my cards out of the way. Because this is our sample. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have a little cup of water, and this is actually something that I've been using for doing my nails, because I've been doing my own fills. Isn't that nice? I'm going to get a little bit of water, and I'm going to put it in my little cup right here. Yes, I agree. Just ink, water, pen. Yes. I think it would I would go nuts just trying to do all the coloring that is, that some of these, you know, it's a very detailed image, and I really don't want to, I really wasn't into doing that kind of coloring. So I'm just opening up my powders. And I'm going to start with the yellow. So, and I'm going to kind of show you. So here is the image right here, and I think I have it the same direction. So I'm going to put my yellow around these little flowers right here. So I'm just going to kind of mixing them right where those little flowers are. Then I'm going to get my my yellow dauber. I'm going to ink it a little bit, and then I'm just going to go ahead and look, I'm just going to add that color right there. See that? Let me move in so you can see what I'm doing. And then I'm just going to kind of just add that color. So I'm just kind of filling in that color right there. And that's all I need to do. And I may want to come over here and see, I'm just kind of sponging it right where I want the color. So now I'm going to add the Melon Mambo right there. I'm going to change my dauber to my Melon Mambo dauber. I'm going to add a little bit of water, and I should have a paper towel to kind of blot my dauber, and then I'm just going to kind of pick up that color and I'm going to kind of spread that around. Look at that. Look how easy it is. And if I want to add some more color, I can. And I'm actually adding Daffodil Delight because I kind of want this to be, see, if I add the Daffodil Delight to the Melon Mambo, I get a color that's like terracotta tile, and that's all I'm doing. I'm just kind of dabbing it and kind of controlling where I want that color to go, okay? Now I'm going to take my green, and I'm going to take it here, Granny Apple Green, and I'm going to just kind of sprinkle where I think the green needs to go. And again, I'm gonna have to I'm gonna dump this water out because it's got pink in it, and I don't want my green to turn into purple. I'm gonna pour some new fresh color. Okay, and then I'm just, look at that. And I can control my color with my dauber, and all I'm doing is just daubing, taking that really bright pigment and I'm just kind of spreading it where I want it to go. And I just want to, if I want to pick some up, I can just pick some up. And again, let me see, Granny Apple Green. Dampen my dauber and there you go. I need to get this edge right here. That's not too bad. Look at that. So it looks, it actually looks pretty good. So that's another way to kind of color the image. Very, very easy. And as you can see, when I bring in the terracotta tile color, for example, this color right here, look how pretty that will look on the back of the terracotta tile. Even when I use a little bit of, look at that, a little bit of mossy meadow. Isn't that pretty? That's really nice. Now, the reason why I like using, I think I have, now look at that. Look what would happen if we took that now and we just added a little bit of that against, as a border with our flower. I mean, isn't that beautiful? Or we could take it and we could put the terracotta tile and we could do it that way, or do it against like that. And that is just really, really a nice, you can kind of see the options that you have with this set, and it should not overwhelm you because it's ornate. Yes, it is ornate, but it's not, it shouldn't be scary. So now I'm going to take my other piece, and let me see, where did I put that? Oh, here it is. And we're just going to do the same thing. Should I do the same thing, Tina, or should I try something different? What do you think? Help me out here. So you think I should use the same technique, or I should do something different with this one right here? Okay, try anything. Tina's up for anything. All right. Let's try. I don't know. Let's try. Okay, let's try it this way. Let's take Mango Melody and let's just put it on the flowers because we can see the flowers pretty good. All right. Then let's get a sprayer. And let's spray those colors. Then let's take our Granny Apple Green. Well, let's save that for last. Let's take the pink, which is our Melon Mambo. And then let's spray that. Now I can take my sponge dauber if I wanted to, and I could just kind of move that around like that. I'm going to get my yellow I'm going to move that around. And then I'm going to take a little bit of a rag here, and I just want to kind of blot that. All right, now I'm going to take, I'm just going to do something different, and I'm going to take some, and we're just going to spray that. I'm just taking a different color, and it's a little bit more muted. But what I want to do now is I want to brighten it up. With the green around the edge. And then we're just going to kind of, I'm going to blot it, and then we're just going to kind of check out those colors. And there we go. So now we have two different styles. I kind of like this one better. And this one looks a little deeper. We can still put this, it still looks pretty if we put that one on terracotta tile to kind of pop up our flowers. And we could put, let's see, we could also put it on the back of something like this, which is actually, I kind of like that more for this one. But there you go. Two very neat exactly. Don't worry about what's coming on the outside. As you can see, I pretty much had the same issue with this one. And in fact, when I did this one here, I think it was this one or this one here, this one had no, there was none of the ink got down here, and I just basically covered that up using the sentiment. But there you go. So you kind of cut it out. You can use these, you know, lots of neat backgrounds and lots of neat effects to come up with your cards. You know, there is more that you can do with this set than just, you know, coming up with these very neat filigrees that I think kind of lend itself to a lot of ideas. I will also say that if you use your layered rectangle dies, I use those to come up with the matting for this card right here. You can kind of see how it's the stitched rectangles. So you can use these to kind of mat your image, and you know, based on, you know, what we did, or, you know, like maybe something like this would be, you could use and kind of mat that and then put that against, you know, yellow and green, or yellow and terracotta tile, and you've got some options. This will probably lighten up as it dries. It's very strong right now, but I tell you, these do rather stand on their own once you kind of, you know, it's kind of like this one. This one was kind of strong too, but if you add a lot of other visual interests like the filigree and the background, it's really not, you know, it really stands on its own. Okay, so yeah, it's an expensive set, but I wanted to play with it because I think it's got a lot of options. And I wasn't really, when I got it, I was a little scared of it because it was you know, so much of it was ornate. But after I kind of played around with the way that you could color your image, I think it's really kind of interesting. And I haven't seen anyone do anything like, you know, like this yet. So lots of options. I hope you enjoyed. The video. If you purchase just the stamp set, if you purchase the bundle, I will send you a sample of the designer series paper, and I will send you a sample of the gems, and you'll have to do that by Friday midnight. And here is the paper. So just purchase the bundle. Don't purchase the whole suite. I will send you the paper, and it is really pretty. It is really pretty paper. I haven't even started making cards with the paper yet. But I will send you the sample of the paper and the jewels as my gift to you. If for those of you who are my customers, purchase by Friday, and I believe Friday is, what's the date on Friday? Let me see. Let me check my calendar. If you purchase by Friday the 24th. Okay. Thank you so much, Tina, for joining me. I really appreciate the crafting company, and I will see you next week on Wednesday, 7 o'clock. As long as we are quarantined, I will be providing my Wednesday videos, trying to show you new techniques and ideas for using your products. Kat Chancellor, Stamp Art Connection, stampartconnection.com. Stay well, stay safe, happy stamping, and please like and share. Have a great evening.